There's always going to be a candidate that you can be represented by, that you can get behind. And that's why you make all great again. And it doesn't mean all for everybody. Not everyone can be included in everything. But it means make the right things right again. If you live in a country that was going through what the U.S. was going through, you're going to have a MAGA candidate very soon too. And you need to get behind them and make sure that you come out on the winning side so that your country can do an about face in the direction that takes it to a better place. Haven't made a video in a few weeks. Whole world flipped upside down. Well, at least if you live in the West. Woo! Real quick, we gotta do a flex, sets, check. Not sets like gender, but set C. You guys know what I mean. Look at it, even through the arm bands, the muscles, the veins come through. If I was you, I'd wish to be me too. Okay, so listen. Here's what we're gonna be talking about today. We're gonna be talking about the red pill election. And let me just say, I haven't heard anyone call it the red pill election, and I know you haven't either. So that means you're hearing it here first. And we're going to be talking about why you, no matter where in the world you live, should vote for your MAGA candidate. And what does MAGA mean? Well, it means make all great again. Let's get into it. So before we hop into the meat of this particular video, I just want to play the video that really sums up in a nutshell exactly what happened and why men and voters in general stepped out to support the president-elect. Okay? This year like never before, not even close to the first time he was in office. Why did he win this time? This video sums it up. And let me just say, it was because the left was so far gone that the beatdown was this severe. It wasn't even close. Okay? I don't know what kind of naughty videos you look at on the internet, but the left candidate this year got pounded harder than the one versus whatever stuff you might be typing into your naughty search engine bar, okay? She had no chance. And it's because she's the exact opposite of the video I'm about to play for you. And no one wanted that bullshit. Here we go!
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people. They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis- or disinformation. And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. To assist in these efforts, I am urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters, and we have to do this right now, to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech. Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support for a period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials, there should be a 7-year calling-off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data. Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation. Thank you, and God bless America.
So there you have it. That video sums up exactly why the left had no chance. Because no one wants what they're trying to do to kids, to themselves, to others. Make all great again. Not just where you are, not just in America, but make all great again. And it doesn't mean all for everybody. Not everyone can be included in everything. But it means make the right things right again. And if you're already in a place where the right things are already right, like if you're in Japan, if you're in Thailand, perhaps even China, then where you are, for you and your people, things are pretty right? They haven't changed in hundreds of years, more or less. You're enjoying the legacy, hard works of the many, 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 many men before you and their fathers and so forth. Things are still right where you are. But when you go over to, well, the West, they've lost all fucking sensibility. So the West needs to MAGA. Make all great again. I mean, that can apply to any place in the West. You know, whether you're talking about, obviously, America, Canada, some kind of way got themselves even more fucked than America. France, you saw what happened with the Olympics over there. What the fuck was that? That opening ceremony? That was nothing to celebrate there, so that wasn't a ceremony. But anywhere that needs to go back to the roots that made it great, there's always going to be a candidate that you can be represented by, that you can get behind. And that's why you make all great again. Now, let's talk about America in this particular instance. The U.S., as they like to say. So, super fucked. The reason this became the red pill election, even if that's not what they want to call it, that's what it was, that's what it is because it became, well, let's get straight to it. It became gender wars. Not just between man and woman versus retards, but between all of the craziness in general that was being stirred up, which was, yes, between man and woman and man and women. Excuse me, man and chick. Women don't fight with their men. Just weird chicks. So it became man versus chick and man and woman versus retards. Let's be honest. Now, men were under attack, and they still are to some degree. Me, myself, I've been banned personally more times than Andrew Tate himself. Me. Think about that. So if I'm getting banned that much, imagine what's happening to other people. I'm not saying they get banned more than me, but they get banned too, just for speaking the truth. Now, what happened is that the left wing became more radical, you know? Instead of people who were on the left becoming right wing, or I guess that way, if you're looking at that, you know what I mean. What actually happened was that the left became so radical that it pushed people to the right wing. Think about it, okay? Left used to mean that you just wanted people to have a higher quality of life, even if it meant sharing, more or less, right? For example, an easy one is immigration. Welfare is another one, you know? Oftentimes these things would come up and people who are on the left were like, hey, you know, let's let people in if they can have a better life here. I want them to have a life that's enjoyable, kind of like mine. Welfare. If they're behind in life, let's help them catch up. Even gender issues, right? Even gender issues. People on the left were like, hey, you know, it's a little weird. They do have something strange going on with them. But if it helps them wake up in the morning, you know, let gay people be gay. If they want to get married and enjoy the misery that all of us straight people have, then fuck it. Let's do it. More or less, the idea was that, hey, if it helps you to live a happier life, then go for it. That was the overall message of being on the left. Now, what it became, and there's no other way to put it, was absolute 100% retardation. Where I might say, okay, this thing that you like is okay for you to do in the privacy of your own home, became what you thought would be okay to thrust unto everyone else within earshot, and then some, including children. And that's not okay. Never in the West world of history has a saying been more true than give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Never. So, as men in unison all came to the same realization, it didn't matter if you liked the MAGA candidate this year, you had to vote for the Republican that was going to take the rights away from the left. And that was because the people on that side of the fence were just absolutely retarded. And I guess a more medically friendly way of putting it, they were special ed. I mean, kind of. Mentally ill. I mean, really all three is the same fucking thing. So what ended up happening is that the entire country, and we've never seen anything like this before, as you can see from this picture, agreed that all of the fucking people on the left had lost their fucking minds. Absolutely stupid, dumbfound, mentally ill, retarded, out of it, lost loco, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Those people were done and there was no saving them, and we had to confiscate their rights indefinitely. So you voted for the MAGA candidate that would do that. And not just every MAGA candidate would do that. But this year, the US got lucky and there was one who would. Yes, I'll say it again, loud and proud. There are only two genders. I am of the coolest one. And of course, my ladies are of the prettier one. Although, I mean, it's hard to be prettier than me. If you're a girl, you gotta have your work cut out for you. I got the perfect mold of pretty and manly. But enough about me. Let's talk more about the red pill election. So the consensus was loud and resounding. You will not censor sensibility. Looking at you, Reddit, old Twitter, YouTube, even you, TikTok, and the rest of you little scroungy, no worthy naming platform people, all of you guys, looking at you. See, people were upset when the second term didn't happen. When it didn't happen right away, because I mean, I guess the second term did end up happening, right? But honestly, it was the best outcome that any of us could ask for. And the reason it ended up being the best outcome for the future of men, I should make clear, is because when the second term didn't happen, they attacked him the exact same way. And I mean no different than how they attacked the rest of us. And let's be honest, he was already red-pilled and on our side, but until then, he hadn't really had a taste of going through exactly what we as men go through. And when he did, let me just say, in a way, it was kind of nice and satisfying for me to see, because it's not every day that you get to wake up and see a billionaire going through the exact same hardships and problems that you do. And when that happened, well, for once, we were all on the same page. Every man and most women were on the same page. And when it came time to elect someone who would represent men, well, it became the red pill election. Man versus feminists, man versus retardation. And all throughout history, guess what, you dumb bitches? Men and mankind has won. Remember, make all great again. And more importantly, anime's still great. Just don't fuck with it. But make gaming great again. Is that really more important than making all great again? I don't know. I spend a lot of time playing games, so it's a toss-up. I don't fucking know. Make them both great again. I see you guys. You men! You came out! You put it down. You did the right thing. I am not a patriot. I do not really believe in America. I don't. I don't believe in people. I don't. But let me just tell you, this one time, you men in this country made me proud. The red pill election is won. I'll say it again without the clapping so that you can hear it. The red pill election is won, baby. See you in the next video. Show me some love and subscribe. I'm going to keep this going because we're going to have a wild ride. Things about to get wild. There's going to be so much that you need to know, and I'm going to be here for almost all of it, letting you know what the deal is. God Connecticut. See you in the next video.
Wait. About what?
You're serious? You don't know? Everybody knows you never go full retard.